Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Moxie Infernape, and this is my team builder and battle for week 8 of season 6 of the Major Pokemon League. This week I'm playing my good pal, Mr. Deebz, coach of the Calgary Flame Wheels. So Deebz is currently, I think, 4-3 going into this game, and I'm 5-2. He's in the opposite conference, so like his record doesn't really affect mine in terms of making playoffs, because for playoffs you have to be top 4 in your conference. But still, this would be a nice game to win, put me at 6-2, and almost lock me a playoff spot. If I win and if Mystic loses, then I do actually clinch a playoff spot. So that would be really nice. Or if Nick loses, although no, going into this week, Nick was 4-3. And yeah, so no, never mind about the whole Nick losing thing. But if Mystic loses and I win, I do clinch a playoff spot this week, which would be great. Next week I do play Rogue, and he is currently 7-0. So yeah, he's doing pretty well. So that would be scary, but. Just gotta focus on this game, focus 1 week at a time. So I'll just read off Deebz' team, and mine will be on screen as well. This also, going into this game was the last week to make any transactions. I debated making one or something, but didn't really find what I wanted and just didn't make anything. So no transactions all season, which I think is the first for me. That's pretty cool. But you know, it is what it is. I feel like I just had a good draft. But Deebz' team is Mega Mawile, Dragonite, Necrozma, and Porygon 2, Hippowdon, Sandslash, Sneasel, Primarina, Tornadus, Incarnate, Darmanitan, and Electrode. So his users are Dragonite and the Hippowdon, but probably not a Z Hippowdon. I mean, probably not gonna see a Z Hippowdon. Probably leftovers a Rocky Helmet or something. Probably not a Z Crystal, but you know, you could have a Z Crystal. You never really know. But my team, let's get into here. So first off, I got Nihiligo. Pretty classic Scarf Nihiligo. I've brought Scarf Nihiligo a fair amount. I mean, I've brought some other sets, but Scarf is just in generally pretty good, because most teams don't have great switch-ins to Power Gem, as rock resistances are not too common. I mean, he does have the Mawile, Hippowdon, and Sandslash, so he does have 3. But I felt like outside of them, then Power Gem is really nice. I feel like Sandslash isn't super likely to come, and I can weaken down the Mawile and get rid of the Hippowdon. So I feel like Power Gem could be really nice to spam in the late game, and also I can get the boost to my special attack if I pick up a kill on anything. So I feel like if I can just pressure his walls and weaken them down, this thing can be nice in the late game. It outspeeds stuff like Sneasel, outspeeds a +1 D-Knight, outspeeds like a Tornadus, a Scarf Darm, so it's really nice. And Power Fire is there for the Mawile, really sludge away from Power Gem hits everything else. I would sorry, I was just a mixture of sounds and I combined on the words, but I was debating Grass Knot for the Hippowdon, but did not go for it in the end, because I felt like that's really the only mon I'm clicking that against, and felt like I'm not really likely to spam that. So I put Stealth Rock on this. I don't have rocks on my Empoleon, so this is my rocker this week, and rocks would be nice for like Dragonite and Darmanitan stuff, so it would be really nice to get them up. I can bring this thing in versus like the Porygon, or maybe like the Electrode, and set up rocks versus that. So even though I'm Scarfed, I feel like I can still make some opportunities to get on my rocks. So I feel like this is still a viable rocker, even though it is locked into that. Next we got Ben, the Assault Vest and Empoleon. So this is a pretty comfortable switch in to the Primarina, as well as just to any other like special mons. Like it can take hits from the Tornadus pretty well. Even the Electrode isn't too immediately threatening. It can take hits from the Porygon too pretty well and knock off its Eviolite. It's just really nice. Also the speed on Denise here is for max speed Jolly Darn. Yeah, Empoleon. So the Spadef on Empoleon, so I can live 2 HP rounds from Modest, Specs, Prim. So basically just as hard as Prim can hit. I can take any 2 hits. Also, it allows me to take 2 Evolts, or 2 Earth Powers from Timid, Evolt, and Necrozma. So if he's offensive, then I can still switch into that pretty well, and knock off his item or go for Scald, do some decent damage. Scald Flash Cannon is good dual stab for most of his team. Knockoff's good to get rid of items, and Ice Beam is helpful for the Dragonite, mainly just so it doesn't set up on me for free. Also, I suppose hits the Tornadus a little bit harder. Then all the defense and the HP allows me to live an Earthquake from a Jolly +1 Dragonite. So just another potential check to Dragonite if I don't need to bring this thing in the early game for the Prim or anything else. So this could be nice in the late game there. Next we got a just bulky Tapu Fini, a little fast and fairly bulky set here. So the speed, so I can outspeed a Dragonite that's creeping max speed Modest Fini. Felt like that was maybe the most likely Dragonite speed to come, so I felt like creeping that is good, and just not not could be max speed Jolly Dragon. I feel like I don't need that speed, and also just trying to maximize the bulk that I can carry with this Feeny. Dual Stab's really nice. Taunt allows me to break down some of his walls. And most of his mounts are physical, so having up that screen there could be nice. Yeah, like it could be nice just to set up the reflect. Like a Mawile can normally kill me with like a Thunder Punch. I can set that up and then live the hit and then get off another attack, and then I can attack off Feeny, but then that way I'll that screen up, and then so whatever I bring in after Feeny can deal with a Mawile better, or any other physical mons in that case, really. But yeah, just Dual Stab really does everything I need in this game. I don't really need another coverage, and Taunt's just nice. I pretty much already said that. Oh, I said that again. I don't know why I don't know. I'm being kind of wordy, but it's alright. Next we got Charizard here, just a Fizz Def Charizard pretty much, which is kind of weird. I said it like it was such a common thing, you know, just a Fizz Def Charizard. But now this is a really nice Rocky on my Charizard, as it does allow me to switch into Mawile somewhat comfortably. Before I realized Thunder Punch is very viable in this matchup. Rock Slide, I doubt he brings. It does get Rock Slide, and that'd be very bad if he brings it for Charizard, but I feel like Rock Slide's only useful for Charizard, and I guess Swellow, but I mean, you have Play Rough, which like OHKOs easily, so no need for Rock Slide in terms of hitting Swellow, only for Zard, and I feel like Mawile definitely needs its coverage this game, as Play Rough and Iron, I feel like are both two moves he's going to want. Sucker Punch he might want. He does like to hit rocks on Mawile a fair amount, so he might want that. He might want Thunder Punch for Zard, for Empoleon, for Feeny. I feel like Thunder Punch is pretty viable. Also might want Ice Punch for Gliscor, so a lot of different moves he might want to carry. So I feel like, I think he's going to carry Thunder Punch, but Charizard can still live one Thunder Punch from full. The defense so it can live 2 Icicle Crashes from Banded Sneasel, and then just like a little bit of speed. Or no, the speed, speed is actually for a certain thing. It's so it can outspeed, max speed, timid, pre-marina. So I can outspeed any prim with this, which is nice. So I can roost off. If it's specs, I can actually still live 2 Moonblast, or still live 2 Moonblast. So I can actually just Toxic and then roost him off. So if he locks himself into that, then I can actually just stall out the prim. And if he goes for Surf or something, or if he's already locked in Surf and I know that, then I can go into Ben or into my Tapu Fini. So I have switch-ins to either of its stabs there. So I feel like I can pivot around that pretty well. It's just nice. I really like this as a check to Mawile mainly, and also just a lot of his other physical mons. Like I can Toxically Powdon, Toxically Porygon 2. Sub in that last slot was a pretty last-minute call. Originally I did have Air Slash, but I changed that to Sub because I feel like Air Slash, it does a little more to Prim, does a little more to Dragonite, but like I'd rather just Toxic those, honestly. And Sub could be really nice because I outspeed all of his walls, like the Necro, the Hippo, the P2, or like the Prim too, which is not a wall, but something that like I could still sub Toxic Roost and just really pivot, or not pivot, but like change those moves up and just keep going, kind of cycling through those, not pivoting, just cycling through those moves there. I can just sub and Toxic the Hippo, and if it doesn't have Stone Edge or Roar, then I can really beat Hippo, which is great. And P2, Thunderbolt would be doing around half, but on my Roost, and it's going to be doing only 25%, so, and I will outspeed it, so that'll make me lose my Flying type, and I can really beat the Porygon too, which is great. Necro can Toxic, and that thing will be hitting me pretty hard with the Photon Geyser, so I can't really stall that thing out as well, but I can at least Toxic and then pivot into Umbreon, so I feel like this is just a really nice stall breaker and a good check to Mawile as well. Next, we got my main win con, either this or probably the Nihilego. But this is a potential win con, just a kind of normal just SD Lucario with 3 attacks and the Steelium Z for my Meteor Mash. I could carry the Fightinium Z, but I felt like Meteor Mash or Z Meteor Mash is most likely to like be useful, or has the highest chance of like me needing it or me using it. I could do more with a Z close combat. Like I'll do more to like hit Powdown or Mawile, but the Z Mash could be useful for the Necro or even for like the Prim. So I felt like that was still useful, and so it could be really helpful, and still does a lot anyways. So if I can get up to +2, this thing might just win. Like all of his faster mons, E-Speed does a lot, and I think like a +2 E-Speed after Rocks, I think Oko's, I want to say everything that's faster than me, except for maybe like I guess I need Scarfers, but like anything slower than me that's Scarf, like I guess Sand Slash, like Necro or something. But I can really a +2 E-Speed. I think after Rocks, Oko's all of his faster mons. Maybe barring Torn, I'm not sure how bulky that is, but still, like, this thing hits really hard, and it's a beast. The speed on this thing is for, the same speed as Feeny, max speed, Dragonite, or no, not max speed, but a Dragonite that's creeping max speed and modest Feeny, so same speed as Feeny here, it's 139, so just creeping that Dragonite there, trying to make sure I outspeed that while still maximizing my attack and giving me a little bit of bulk there too. This is a great mon. Like, I can set up versus P2, I can probably live in one hit from Necro. I can, like, if I can scare out like the Sneasel, I can set up versus that. I can set up versus maybe Electrode or something. It's just a great mon. Like, it can kind of just win. It's awesome. Also, it's, I believe, second on the MVP list right now. It's got, going into this game, I think it has 15 kills, and Rogue Zygarde is 16. So if I can get a lot of kills this week and then push that up, and then give me a chance to be MVP, that'd be awesome. So next, and well, last mon here, we got Umbreon, just a defensive mon. The 4 EVs, they got kind of wasted. Like, I couldn't really put them anywhere, so I mean, if I put them in touch attack or attack, it doesn't really do anything, so it doesn't really matter. The Spidafiers, I can live a Moonblast from Modest Specs Prim, so I can live in one hit from the Prim, so maybe I can get off a slow Baton Pass versus that. If it's got the speed outspeed me, which it probably will. Like, I don't have much speed on this, but just for general creeps, like from Prim or Sand Slash or the Porygon too. So pretty straightforward set: Wish, Foul Play, B-Pass, and Heal Bell. Heal Bell is mainly for Toxics from stuff like Porygon 2, Hippowdon, Necro. So I can synchronize the Toxic onto them, then Heal Bell it off of me, so basically I just Toxic them. And it also works like if anything else gets status, like if Charizard gets Toxic, or anything else gets any status. Like if Charizard gets Parrot from Porygon, or like any other weird statuses, Heal Bell's still nice. B-Pass is good just so I can pivot around things. You know, it's just nice to pivot, like if I can, because he's got 2 pretty likely switch-ins, being the Mawile and the Prim, which are pretty safe switch-ins to Foul Play, and if I can pass on that switch, then I can, you know, get the initiative, and just bring in something else. Like for Mawile, I can bring in Lucario or Charizard, and then for Prim, I can bring in Nihilego or maybe Lucario. So I feel like just having B-Pass is nice, and the Wish is, you know, pretty standard. And it's just a good Umbreon set, good bulky boy. Helps me with the Necro. I was really debating between this and Gliscor in this last slot. As Gliscor did a similar role, it helped me kind of stall break his team. But I felt like if I brought Gliscor, then the Necro was a huge threat, and I really felt like I need Umbreon for it. So hopefully this team works. You know, SD, Luke, Scarf, Nihilego, and then some bulky pivot boys to help with that. And I feel like this is a good team. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the battle in just a second. Alright guys, so I'm back with the battle, as you can see here. So one thing that I noticed from my last clip of the team builder about my audio is that it might sound a little bit weird. That's because I'm in a different room, and it's kind of echoing more. Like, I'm back in my old room that I used to be in, and I don't know, it's kind of echoey. So I don't know if that's, I don't know how I can fix that, if it's really a huge issue, but you know, whatever. So this is on the other side because I actually was in my new. Yeah, I was on Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon for this game because I actually have now completed it and can Mega Evolve, although I didn't even bring a lot of this game. But I think I just didn't upload the code and then used Deebz' side, so whatever, it doesn't really matter, I'm on this side, whatever. So Deebz brings the Electrode, Mega Mawile, Hippowdon, Primarina, Porygon 2, and Necrozma. So no Dragonite, which is interesting. I'm glad not to see it, but no Dragonite. No Darmanitan, which could have been annoying, just like scary, stupid. No Torn, which is good. I do see the Electrode though, which is interesting. I did not bring either of my ground types, so he can freely Volt Switch and gain that momentum, which is bad for me. So hopefully I can get rid of that Electrode early, or at least try to pivot into the right things and at least pressure and not let him Volt Switch for free. But I'm just gonna lead with my, I think, Empoleon, as I feel like it's a pretty safe lead versus really everything. Even Hippo, I can still get off a Scald and take the Earthquake, and I don't think the Earthquakes anyways probably wants to get Rocks. So I felt like Empoleon's pretty safe leaded, and I can kind of bluff that I'm going to lead and go for Rocks, so if that affects his plays around that, like, you might want to bring in something to get rid of them. Although I don't think he brought anything to... No, he doesn't have any way of getting rid of Rocks, so... But I didn't bring Rocks on Empoleon, but whatever. So, turn 1 he does Taunt, so actually that did kind of benefit me, though. That it did, you know, kind of bluff the Stealth Rocks lead Empoleon. I said, don't have Rocks, I'm Soulfest. But let's go right for the knockoff. I thought he'd switch into Necro or P2 or something. But still, knockoff catches this thing's Life Orb, so that helps in some ways. It actually will kind of hurt me, as you'll see in a bit, because now he can Volt Switch for free and is not getting damaged or pressured from that at all. Skull would have done more. But I mean, I thought he'd switch, and I felt like a knockoff was still a safe overall play. So here, I wanted to switch into Umbreon, or I actually do switch into Umbreon, but I wasn't just staying because I thought he might just Volt Switch, and he probably will, but he might do him T-Bolt and get off some damage, honestly, because now I'm taunted and can't get at rocks, so he might, he might just want to T-Bolt and just pressure this Empoleon and like lower my chances of getting at rocks later, and also just get damage on it, which could help, like it's Mawile and help for Necro too. So I thought he might T-Bolt. Volt Switch, I mean, still was like a good play on his end because he can still get some damage, but I felt like he didn't really have a super safe switching into the opponent anyways. But he does just Volt Switch, so that kind of sucks for me. Is now he also gets a crit, which I mean didn't matter too much. He got a little bit more damage, and I'd have liked to not have been crit there, but I don't think it really mattered later. But he can then freely bring in one of his fairies, and he does bring in the Mawile, so that's scary and that's bad for me. As I do not let the player off. That thing will do a lot. So I'm going to switch out right into my Charizard, which is my designated switching for this, and just see what he does, as he does stay in and does Mega, as you'll see right now. So he's going to Mega Evolve, be a nice, pretty Mega Mawile, which is scary and bad. So I'm expecting either a Play Rough or a Thunder Punch here, maybe predicting that. But it does just go straight for the Baton Pass, so that's interesting. I looked at what it has for setup moves, and like it could have Swords Dance, but he's only on to receive the Swords Dance as maybe a Powdon. Unless he's running something weird like a physical Porygon, or I mean, it could be Necro, to be fair. That actually could take a Swords Dance too. But I feel like he needs more coverage. So I don't know if he's gonna have Swords Dance or not. And I don't think he's really gonna pass it. So probably just Baton Pass 3 attacks. Maybe he has Stealth Rock on there because he does like bringing rocks in his Mawile, but probably on Hippo, maybe on Necro. But I feel like Hippo if I had to predict that. So he's just gonna bring in his Electrode again, which is bad for me. I can live the Volt Switch, and I think even a Thunderbolt I do live. But I don't want Charizard being almost dead and then dead to coming on rocks if I get that low. So I'm just gonna ride in my Umbreon. He probably Volt Switches again, but he might want a Thunderbolt and just get off more damage. So, but now he does just Volt Switch. It does like nothing because Umbreon's a thick boy and Electrode is a pretty weak boy. But in comes the Mawile again. So that's not good for me. So we're in the same scenario we were in a little bit ago, or like 2 turns ago, I think. Except now this time I'm a little bit lower on health. So this time I feel like he might just Baton Pass again and do the same thing, but he also could Play Rough to just get off some damage. But I feel like he also could Thunder Punch if he is predicting the Charizard to come in. So I'm going to go to Empoleon because I don't want to keep just cycling these turns and having this happen, because if this keeps happening, I'm not benefiting, because what's happening is I'm losing health on my Umbreon here, and I don't have rocks or anything to pressure him, so he's not losing anything from this cycle of turns. So I feel like I need to do something to change it up. So I'm going to go into my Empoleon, can take a Thunder Punch, as I Baton Pass, just to see if I outspeed. I felt like he might have Play Rough, but I don't think the odds of Play Rough were super likely. I felt like either Thunder Punch or Baton Pass was his play there, so I did just scout just to see if I outspeed or not, and I did, which could be useful later to either throw off a Sacrificial Wish, or you know, get a fast B Pass, or just like Heal Bell, or even just Foul Play for some damage. So I felt like that knowledge was helpful there. So I bring in Empoleon, as he does Thunder Punch, which does a lot, but now I am in Torrent range, so a Scald will do a lot to this. Maybe I can get a burn. And he doesn't have a good switch into a Scald. Like, I don't think he brought a single water resistance, so yeah, no, he did not. Or actually, no, he's Prim. He does have the Primarina, so he could go into that on Scald, but I'll still get off some damage and can maybe knock off and get rid of its specs or whatever. So I'm just going to go right for the Torrent Scald. As he does go right into the Electrode, and this might just knock it out. I think the roll says it will. Maybe is more bulk than I was expecting, than it says in the calc, but Scald from Torrent range does knock out the Electrode, so no more free Volt Switches for you. Thank God, because that thing was annoying and it was difficult to deal with, but I was able to finally get rid of it, and now I can not be worried about that pivoting into a scary fairy type. So in this comes the Primarina. I am Assaultless, which he does not know yet, so I might be able to live this hit actually. If he's Specs, if he's Timid Specs, I still do have a chance to live. If he's not a Specs, I definitely go down. If he's Timid Specs, I have a chance, less than 50%, but a chance to live. But you know, if he's not Specs, I can live. But he does kill me, which shows he is Specs. So that's good to know for me. Is now I can bring in my Nihilego for free, because I bring it in for free because I sacked it off. But I know he's gonna switch because he's locked in Moonblast. So I just get rocks for free here, as he does go right into his Porygon, which was a pretty safe switch in. But rocks are up, which is nice, so I'll help me just chip down his team. It could be really useful, really useful. Even though none of the mods he brought were actually weak to rocks, but he had 4 on his roster, so that's interesting. But whatever. So I'm going to go right into my Umbreons. I feel like it's a pretty safe play if you get Toxic, so that Synchronizer right back to him. But he does switch out right into the Mawile, predicting that, so good play on his end. I feel like, I mean, this was still my best play overall. I could go maybe in the Feeny for the Foghorn, but I didn't want Feeny getting weakened down from like a Thunderbolt or from like a... I mean yeah, Thunderbolt was probably... Thunderbolt was the move he went for on Lenny. Here we go. Maybe hit Barrow Ground if he was packing that. But, you know, we're back in the scenario again, so I think I just Baton Pass, because why not? I mean, I did get some lefties from this exchange, and that's nice, and there are no rocks up, so, you know, I get some health back on Umbreon, which is good, I guess. But I'm just going to get off my fast beat blast again, I see he stays in, which is fine, so I'm just going to write my Charger, which is my designated switch in for this, and I can hopefully get off some good damage with the Rocky Helmet, and start to pressure his team, and start to pressure his wall. So he does play rough, which does, you know, do a bit, but I get some helmet damage on him, and that's good for me. So here, I think I Roost, or either Toxic. No, I might have subbed. I think I subbed, actually, because that was just a safe play versus that. As even if he Thunder Punches, then, I mean, that breaks my sub. I don't think he takes Rocky Helmet damage from the sub. I don't think. But I can still Roost the following turn, and then I would lose my flying type, so I could live that following Thunder Punch. So, I was fine subbing there. Also, I doubted he would stay in. Like, he would probably switch into something like either Porygon or Hippo, or even the Prim, honestly. He had like 3 good switch-ins there. So in does come the Hippowdon. So I have a sub up, so I'm looking pretty nice. So I'm just gonna throw off a Toxic here. He might have Stone Edge, in which case he can break the sub, but I can at least scout and get that knowledge there. So I'm just gonna throw off my Toxic and thankfully miss. So thanks, Charizard. That's good. So the rocks come up, which are not good for me. But if I can just keep Charizard healthy, I can still at least pivot into the Mawile and get some helmet damage on it, and at least just weaken it down, which is all I need. So I'm just going to Roost here, as I do still have the sub up. So he might not be able to break the sub if he doesn't have the Whirlwind or Stone Edge, and he's actually in a pretty bad spot here. So he just crunches, which shows me I doubt he has anything to deal with this sub Zard, as his set's probably now Crunch, Soft Rock, Slack Off, Earthquake. So I'm just going to Toxic, and now I land, so that's good. Crunch will be a 2 KO in the sub, but definitely not a 1 KO. It does like around 12 to 15%, so it's not going to be able to break the sub in 1 hit, so that's really good for me. So he's just going to Crunch and then break my sub in this turn, which is, you know, which is alright. I think I just throw up another sub the following turn, but now Hippo is Toxic, which is really good, as that'll really just help weaken it down, really just pressure it, so that's awesome. So now I think he switches now into Porygon. I'm going to do Prim. No, this is Porygon, right? And this is Prim. I don't know his nicknames yet. I forgot already. So I have a sub up, so that's good for me. Now I'm just gonna Toxic, or do I Roost first? I think I Roost just to stay healthy. Yeah, I Roost just so I can stay healthy enough so that I can live the incoming rocks. So that's alright. So here I can see what he does. I mean, he'll be able to break my sub with anything, but I can see what he locks himself into, as he locks himself into Moonblast, which is great for me, because Moonblast is not a 2 KO on this Charizard. So I'm fine staying in, as he made a silly play. Well, not a silly one. Like if I switch out into Topic Feeny on the expected water move, and that would have been that would make sense. So it wasn't a bad play, but just this works out pretty well for me now, as I can just throw for Toxic. I know I live 2 Moonblast, so I can safely Toxic and Roost and just beat this thing, and I'm looking pretty nice. So Moonblast does a little under half, I did around 45%, but I can just Roost that off right here. That is it. I think maybe a sub, but I think I Roost here. Just you know, stay healthy, be a nice Charizard boy here. As no, I think I actually did a sub. You know, I did sub just because like if he Moonblast, then why not? You know, I can get more Toxic damage on him kind of for free. So, and if he did switch, then having a sub it would be great. So now I'm just gonna Toxic his Porygon. Maybe I could have Roosted first, so it didn't really matter what order. I mean, he can break my sub with a Thunderbolt, but that's fine. I can still Roost the following turn, as when I Roost, I'm losing my Flying type, so his Thunderbolt's only doing about 25%. Instead of the about 50% he's doing normally. So the Thunderbolt easily breaks the sub, but I now Toxic this, Toxic the Primarina, and Toxic the Hippowdon. So basically all the things except for the Necro, really. But the pretty bulky mons that I need to weaken down, I've now weakened down. I have been poisoned. I just need to draw that Necro. I need to bring that thing in. So I do Roost here just to stay healthy and then live the incoming rocks. He does Thunderbolt, which puts me just under half and paralyzes me. That was really bad. I don't know what the roll was. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much what the roll was. That was still paralyzed, but really that 10% of the para. It also was the first Thunderbolt he could paralyze me on, because when I had the sub up, like he can't paralyze me when I have that sub up. So, you know, the first Thunderbolt he could parry me on, he did. Which really sucks, only 10% chance. Because now that I'm paralyzed, this thing's faster than me, so it cannot get off my fast roost. And also, I'm just under half, so Stealth Rocks will knock me out. I don't have Default on Feeny, and I don't have any way of getting rid of these hazards, and he doesn't either, so I can't even pressure him to Default. So Charizard, unless I don't bring it in later and can just keep it around for differential, is gone. So that's bad. I do still have a small chance to live this Thunderbolt, which maybe I do Insane and just roost on that, but then I'm still paralyzed. And I mean, if I live the Thunderbolt, then I can roost, and I will be above half. So maybe it would be worth trying to live that, but the chance is it's pretty low. I want to say it's like less than 20% chance that I'll live the Thunderbolt. I forgot exactly how much, but it's way under half. I don't think he needed a min roll. I think he needed like a min roll and like maybe like 1 or 2 higher rolls. He could have gone. He could have, I guess, gotten, and I would have lived. But that paralysis really sucks. I can heal bell off with my Umbreon later, but the bad thing is I'm still under half and still, you know, will die to rocks then. So, and I mean, if I live and then roost, then I could heal bell and then still be in an okay spot for my Charizard to come in later. But I don't think I have a high chance of living this Thunderbolt. So I figure I'm just gonna try to keep this Charizard around for possibly for differential, at least for that. So I have a pretty safe switch into my Umbreon right here. So I'm just gonna write down Umbreon as I can just eat the Thunderbolt up and then just throw up a wish and try to start killing this Umbreon. Which rocks are up now, so I'm going to get a little bit weakened from that. And Thunderbolt's going to do a little bit, but I'm going to be getting some poison on this Porygon and start to weaken that down. No para on the Umbreon, thankfully. Here maybe I Baton Pass. I forget what I do actually. Heal Bell doesn't really matter because Charizard still dies to rocks, so yeah. I think I might have. Did I Baton Pass? What did I do? Maybe I threw a wish now. I don't think I wished though, because I think my Umbreon says it's healthy later. I forget what I did. I think I do Baton Pass because I thought he'd switch. I thought he'd go into Mawile or into Prim, although I guess he expected me to Baton Pass, so this is probably his safest play. But I feel like now I can bring my Feeny, which is great, as I can Surf, which can do a lot to really everything except for the Prim. So I thought he'd bring that in and then try to pressure me with that Specs Prim, as now I don't have my Empoleon to switch in that Moonblast, and don't have my Charizard really switching the Moonblast either. So Moonblast is really safe for him. I do still need a Lido for that, I guess. But still, I thought he'd go right into Prim, so I go right for the Moonblast, which should do more to Prim. So once the sand, the lefties kick in, and his left. Okay, this is, and then I think. Oh no, we already got his poison, right? And no, now we don't. Okay, the long sequence of stuff, but Hippo switches, so we don't have to see that too much more. So here I just go right for the Moonblast, as I thought he'd go right into his Primarina on the Surf, but he does go into Mawile. So if I just made this straightforward playing quick Surf, I would get more damage on this, but. It's alright, so I'm just going to Moonblast and do, you know, some damage on that. Not too much, but help weaken it down. It should be in range of my Lucario now, which is good. Should be in range of the close combat. So here, I feel like my best play is just to sack off Charizard. What I could have done is gone for the Reflect, and then that would have allowed me to live the Thunderbolt. And then I could have gone for a Surf, and then just sacked, and then got on some more damage in the Mawile, sacked off Feeny, and then gone into Lucario and clicked Swords Dance. And I might have been able to win at that point. But I'm not certain of the Necro set. I don't know how bulky it is. It will be at 88% after the rocks, and a +2 mash might be able to kill depending on his set, but I don't really know his set yet. If he's max Fizz Def, I don't think I kill. Anything but that I can kill, I think. So maybe I can. Oh, I do my Z move. Other than the Hippowdon still lives a +2 close combat, I think. So I need to go for Z move on one of those two, but I can't do both. So. I felt like now wasn't quite yet the time to set up with my Lucario, so I'm just gonna sack off Charizard so I can bring in Luke for free and then pressure his team a little bit more. Not that I'm trying to set up now, but just pressure him and weaken down some more boys so I can set up later and win, or win with my Neo Leo. So Thunder Punch fails because it decides to rocks. So bye Charizard. In comes Ozzy, and then here once I brought this thing in, I started to kind of second guess myself a little bit, because I thought, oh wait, he might have a little bit more bulk, because his attack, from the damage earlier showed he wasn't max attack, so he might have slid some more of those EVs into his defense, in which case then he'll be able to, might be able to live this close combat if I get a low enough roll. So I figure I'm just going to go for my Z move now, as, I mean, either I pick off the Mawile, but I don't think he stays in, or I can get off a lot of damage on the Necro, or on the Hippo, and this Z Meteor Mash should put it in range of a close combat. So I'm just going to go right for the, for this Steel Z move. It's called Corkscrew Crash. Right. So I'm gonna go right for that. as Ozzy is going to light up and do some cool things. And go for that Z move, and it's going to be pretty dope. So I'm going to go for it. It's going to do a good chunk of damage to this Hippo. I think he was pretty physically bulky. I don't know if he's max. I forget if he's max defense or not from the rolls, but we do a good chunk. He gets some lefties, gets some poison, which just cancel out. And I'm going to be able to knock him out with the close combat the following turn, as he does just stay and sack this thing off. So Luke's going to be able to pick up its first kill of the game. And, you know, it's doing pretty well. Hopefully he can get up on the MVP list. So at this point, he's still got the Mawile, the Porygon, the Necrozma, and the Primarina around, as I still have Luke, Feeny, Nihilego, and Umbreon around. So 4v4 at this point. So in comes his Necro, which I can't quite kill, and this thing might be able to knock him out with the Photon Geyser. Although I probably can now that I'm at -1. So I'm going to go into Feeny. I thought he would predict me going to Umbreon and click Earth Power, or I thought, well, other, you know, I thought he'd predict me going to Umbreon and click like Signal Beam or something. So I go into Feeny. I don't know, in hindsight, I kind of wanted to go into Umbreon, or maybe wish I did, because he does just go right for the Photon Geyser, which is a lot to Feeny. But like, if you went for anything but Photon Geyser, then that move plus like a Signal Beam will be able to knock out Umbreon after the rocks damage that it would take. So, I mean, I lost an amount of damage on, or I lost all the health on Feeny, which I didn't need to, and now I'm going to go into Umbreon as he has to click Photon Geyser again to knock me out, which he does do, as you'll see in a minute, or in a second here. But actually, no, he doesn't quite yet, because he rock polishes, because he can live it from Feeny, so might as well just go for it when he can, and that's scary. So this thing could be pretty scary. Umbreon should be able to live any one hit and can foul play, which will get off some damage, but not quite enough to kill, as he does X's or something. He's physical. I wasn't really sure in the Photon Geyser damage up first on Feeny. So foul play will do a good chunk, but you know, not quite yet enough. Actually, it does do a lot. But yeah, it does a lot. But he's got the berry here. He's got one of those berries. So that is pretty terrifying for me. So here, my best play. I'm gonna attack off Umbreon. I wasn't really sure on the set yet, like how invested he was. I thought he might have been like special Photon Geyser than like with a physical X-Scissor, but like I soon realized, oh wait, he's probably just physical. But I might be able to outspeed this with my Scarf and Nihilego. So I'm gonna go in this try to get off some Power Gem damage, as I do actually outspeed. I went for Power Gem, not Sludge Wave. Maybe I should have gone for Sludge Wave, but I went for Power Gem just because I thought if I do live the hit, like if he's special, then I can 2KO, and then like Power Gem's going to be locked into versus the rest of his team, then flip Sludge Wave, and I'm not gonna knock him out with a Sludge Wave anyway. So So I do outspeed though, which is great. As Photon Geyser will be able, it is physical, so it's going to be able to knock me out, as we'll see. But this thing should be in range of 1 Extreme Speed for my Lucario, which is really good, as now I can pick that off. Although, unless he's got Earth Power or Heat Wave, which I don't think he does, then Lucario can actually live a hit, and I can get off his Sword Stance right here. And then Porygon, it easily dies to close combat. The Prim might be range of close combat after Rocks, but I can just go for Medium Mash, and it definitely dies to that. So Prim definitely goes down. And then the Mawile will go down to a close combat. It could have Sucker Punch though. I don't think it does though. We've seen Play Rough, Thunder Punch, and Baton Pass. I'm thinking his last move is either going to be Iron Head or Ice Punch. Maybe Sword Stance, but I don't think so. So I don't think he has Sucker Punch on Mawile. So I feel like this is my best play. And even then, I feel like even if I were to expect him or predict him to have Sucker Punch, I couldn't really do too much about it at this point. I mean, I could E-Speed on that turn of Sucker Punch, but then we're just getting into mind games, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but anyways, so I'm just going to try to set up the Sword Stance here, as if I do, I think I just win. So I do live the Photon Geyser. I'm just going to get off a Sword Stance. Ozzy is going to start dancing, and Ozzy might be able to just clean up from this point. So I'm just going to go right for the E-Speed, which will be able to knock out the Necro pretty easily now that I'm at +2. Necro is gone, so that is great for me. So now in comes the Mawile. So here are the mind games. So I don't think he has Sucker, and maybe he does. I feel like he's also, even if he does have Sucker, there's a chance he might predict me to go for the E-Speed, so he might just want to attack or go for the Play Rough. I'm going to probably just Thunder Punch because that knocks me out. No, doesn't miss. So I feel like my best play is just to click Close Combat and not get into the mind games of Sucker Punch. Because 1, I don't think he has it, and 2, if he does, there's still the chance he doesn't go for it. I mean, maybe he has it, maybe he goes for it, in which case, you know, that sucks for me, and that was good. That was a good play. But I have to play pretty much playing like the only scenario that I can win. I'm playing that scenario. So I'm just going to go for the CC here. As no Sucker Punch out from the Mobile. Turns out I actually did have Sucker Punch, but didn't go for there because I had E-Speed, and he was afraid I'd go for that, which I was kind of debating, but it felt like my best play overall, and like the highest percent of working out for me was just clicking Close Combat and hoping he didn't go for or didn't have Sucker. So now in comes the Primarina, which might be able to die to Close Combat. I'm not certain on Bulk though, but I'm going to risk a Meteor Mash. I feel like the chance of him living Close Combat is higher than 10% if I go for it, so, and there's only 10% chance of me missing Meteor Mash, so thankfully I do land. Don't miss the mash. Thank you, Ozzy. So now comes the Porygon, which will easily go down to this Close Combat, and Ozzy picks up its 5th kill of the game. It got forward in this little sweep, then had 1 earlier on the Hippo. So Ozzy the Lucario picks up 5 kills, bringing itself up to 20 kills for the season. And with 2 weeks left, it has a chance to break the MPL all-time kill record in a season that was set by Azumarill. In Season 1, it had 26 kills, so I have 20 with Luke now, so if I can get at least 7 in the next 2 weeks, which is possible, I got 9 the previous 2 weeks, then I can break that record, so that'd be really cool. But I mean, I'm just hoping. I just want to at least win. I want to win at least one of those last 2 games to definitely lock myself a spot in the playoffs, because even though I did win this week, I'm now 6-2. Mystic also won, so I've not yet clinched a spot in the playoffs. Nick did lose, so Nick's 4-4, Mystic's 4-4. Those are the people that are. Those are the 4 and 5, not 5 seeds, because there's only 4 teams to make the playoffs, but the 4th and 5th teams in the standings in the conference. So if one of them gets a 5th loss, then I would be above them for sure, and would definitely make the playoffs. So next week we do play Rogue, which will be a scary game. He did lose this week to Hera. Sorry for spoiling. I probably shouldn't have done that. My bad. But he's still scary and still 7-1, and yeah, it'd be nice to beat him. That'd be great. They'll definitely lock up a spot in the playoffs, but if not, that's alright. I'm probably not bringing my A team because I feel like there's a pretty high chance of seeing him in playoffs. But this video is getting kind of long. This battle is pretty long, but I'll see you guys next week with the battle versus Rogue. Peace out.